Shalom. All praise is due to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Racha Kwadash, the bonus to the elect apostle, bishops, elders, that great millstone, that well. Shalom to elect Aki out there doing this work in sincerity and truth and not for vainglory in season, out of season. Shalom to the elect men, women, sons, and daughters of the elect of the nation of Israel, which are the elect men, women, sons, and daughters of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, West Indian Haitians, scattered to the four corners of the earth. I just want to make this quick. The whole big thing now is with the SNAP program, with the EBT, and we know that a lot of you so-called Negroes, West Indian Haitians, Latinos, Native Americans are on the SNAP program, but a lot of so-called white people are on the SNAP and EBT program as well. But concerning you so-called Negroes, West Indian Haitians, Latinos, and Native Americans, Hispanics that are on it, now they're saying that November 1st, there's going to be no more EBT and no more SNAP programs. So yeah, that's just all going according to the word, all going to prophecy, where it tells you that, hold on, let me see. Matter of fact, this is not the scripture that I want. What I want is Lamentations 4 and 9. This is something different. Lamentations, actually, I didn't have to do that. Lamentations 4 and 9. Yeah, let me get that right first. It's not the one that I wanted. Lamentations 4, and I'll start at the 9th verse. Yeah, so basically it's all going according to the prophecy of the famine, okay, the lack of food. Now we know there's going to be a famine of the word, okay, of the apostles, bishops, elders, and brothers, Great Millstone, all the other One West camps that's out there teaching, the truth, okay, breaking down the prophecies. GMS being the head camp, okay, that there's going to be a famine. It's going to be a famine of food. So this whole stoppage of the EBT and the SNAP program, which we know is all about food, and then of course they're going to cut SSI, Social Security. They're going to cut basically all the programs, okay, so it's definitely going to be a famine, okay. All right, so let's go to Lamentations, the 4th chapter and the 9th verse. It says, let me see if that's the right scripture. Lamentations 4 and 9. Okay, let's see what the scriptures say here. Lamentations, the 4th chapter and the 9th verse. It says, they that be slain with the sword are better than they that be slain with hunger. Yeah. And it's better to die by the sword, all right? A gun, whatever, because what's the modern day sword? These weapons that Esau has. Who's Esau? Esau is a so-called white man. It's better to die, it's better to be slain by the sword, all right, than they that be slain with hunger, okay, for these pine away, stricken through for the want of the fruits of the field, okay. So yeah, so they that be slain by the sword are better than they that be slain with hunger. Yeah, because that's a slow, grueling, horrible death, and your body starts to eat itself from the inside out. Your stomach gets bloated. You start hallucinating in his intense pain. Okay, for days, for days, you know. So it's better to be put to death by the sword, by a gun, by a weapon, than to be slain by hunger. Okay. You know, and this is what the wicked elite, this is what they're setting up. Okay. They're setting the stage up, which really is Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai is setting the stage up for this famine to come, you know, upon 2/3 of you so-called Negroes, West Indian, Haitians, Hispanics, Latinos, and Native Americans, you know, 2/3 of you. All right. You know, so all these food programs, they're being taken away, you know. So what are people going to do? What are so-called Negroes, West Indian, Haitians, Latinos, Hispanics, and Native Americans do? What are they going to do when there's no money coming in for food from the government? Okay. What are they going to do? You know? All right. So we know that a famine is coming according to Second Ezra, the 16th chapter. Okay. Let's just go to it right quick. You know? So a lot of people, a lot of you 2/3, you're going to die by hunger, by this famine. Okay. All right. So let's get that right quick. Brothers know these scriptures. A few sisters know these scriptures, but this is what's coming to pass, yo. You know? All right. This is what's coming to pass. I think it's around the 18th verse, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. Second Ezra 16th chapter and the 18th verse. It says, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death. You know? Okay. So famine is going to be a major part of the death of you 2/3 of you so-called West Indians, so-called Negroes, West Indians, Haitians, Latinos, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Okay. You know, because they cutting this off, yo. You know, now, let's say you take the Mark of the Beast, which is the RFID chip. Yeah, they may give you a little food, but, you know, still then, they can stop the food whenever they want to. And we know that Esau, the so-called white man, is going to do that. That's why the scripture said in Revelation 12:12, for the devil has come down unto you having great wrath, because he know he hath but a short time. So still a lot of people are going to starve to death. Okay. 2/3 of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, a lot of you are going to starve to death. So that famine is coming. Okay. All right. So I just wanted to bring that out. Let's go to the 19th verse. Behold, famine. See? Behold, famine. Famine. So it's going to be a famine of food here in America. Okay. All right. It's going to be a famine all over the world, but America is going to be the worst place to be in, you know, when this famine comes. All right. So let's go to 2 Kings, the 6th chapter and the 28th. Was it 28th? Was it the 28th? Or was it? Yeah. Let's go here to see what happened back then during the ancient times. Okay, which is going to be worse now. All right. Let's go to 2 Kings. Okay, let's just go through a little history. Okay, of our people, so-called Negroes, West Indians, Haitians, Latinos, Hispanics, Native Americans. All right. 2 Kings, 6th chapter, and let's start at the 28th verse. 28th verse. Okay. All right. It says, and the king said unto her, what aileth thee? What aileth thee? And she answered, this woman said unto me, give thy son that we may eat him today, and we will eat my son tomorrow. So this is a time of Israel's destruction, because they were There wasn't being right with Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. It's like 2/3 of you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, West Indian Haitians, Latinos, and Native Americans. Okay? You know, you don't want to come back to the truth of who you are, being an Israelite, and you want to praise other gods. Well, this is a part of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. This is part of Yahweh's judgment through his son Yahweh Shai. Okay? And we know that the so-called white man is who? He's the sword of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. All right? It says, so yeah, so so they was eating each other's kids, man. You know? All right? It says, so we boiled my son and did eat him. Wow. Yeah, that's, man, that is starvation to the 10th power. Okay, that's that famine that's going to come. And this is coming back, by the way, for 2/3 of you so-called Negroes, West Indian Haitians, Latinos, and Native Americans that don't want to get right with Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Okay, so we boiled my son and did eat him. And I said unto her, on the next day, give thy son, that we may eat him. And she hath hid her son. You know, so, I mean, it just goes to show you that these things are going to happen, you know. So that famine is definitely coming. But the elect, the elect of the nation of Israel, which are the elect of you so-called Negroes, West Indian Haitians, Latinos, Hispanics, and Native Americans, Seminole Indians, you don't have to worry about that. You're going to eat, but 2/3 are not. Okay, let's go to it. Yeah, so that's the real deal. And this is definitely coming back. Cannibalism will come back. Okay. All right. Let's go to Isaiah, the 65th chapter and the 13th verse. Right? Because you can't trust in the so-called white man. You already see what he's doing. But we know 2/3 are going to trust in him and not have faith in Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. All right? Isaiah 65. Okay. Isaiah 65 and 13. That's all we have to fear. Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Okay. He is known as the king. One of his titles is the king of terrors. It says, therefore thus saith the Lord power, Yahweh power. Behold, my servant shall eat. See? So those that have faith in Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, don't take the RFID chip, which is the mark of the beast, which each is going to make, because he's going to push you in the corner. Like right now with this SNAP and EBT programs. You know? Here, take this and you can get some food. You know? But a lot of our people are going to be starving. It says, therefore thus saith Yahweh power. Behold, my servant shall eat. So in a time of famine, the men, women, sons and daughters of the elect of the nation of Israel that serve Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai in truth and sincerity and in humbleness, they shall eat. Okay? All right? It says, but ye shall be hungry. Yeah, the 2/3 is going to be hungry. Behold, my servant shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. You know, so, you know, this famine is definitely coming. Like it says in 2nd Ezra 16th chapter. Sorrows, famine. You know, that's right. So I hope you've been edified. And yeah, that's why it's best to fear Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Be ye doers of the word and not hearers only. But 2/3 of you so-called Negroes, West Indian Haitians, Latinos, Hispanics, and Native Americans, Seminole Indians. Hey, you're going to die in many different ways, but famine is going to be one of the main ones. Okay? Famine is going to be one of those ones. Hope you've been edified. And with that, shalom.